Good evening. This is Yoshafat Oliver coming to you on the 16th of April, 2020. And my message today is that we need to understand that we cannot trust the government. We cannot trust the government because the government has a track record of lying to us. Why would you trust a liar? Think about it. If an individual who you knew was an incorrigible serial liar, and then they came to you with a very reasoned argument, would you pay any attention to them? Would you take them seriously? Would you listen to their arguments, to their claims? Would you give them the time of day? No, because you know that this person has a record of being deceptive, of being a liar. You wouldn't listen to that person. You wouldn't take them seriously. It makes no sense to take seriously someone who is known to be a liar. It doesn't matter what their arguments are. It doesn't matter how rational, how logical, how reasonable those arguments sound. If you know that this person has a track record of being a liar, of being a snake oil salesman, you won't listen to him. You won't pay any attention to him. The same thing is true of the government. We know that the government lies. Not only does the government sometimes lie, it lies as a matter of course. Politicians lie as a matter of course, and public health officials lie as a matter of course. They don't have our best interests at heart. They are not trustworthy. We should not care what they have to say. When they claim that something is bad for our health, it's probably good for our health. Whatever they say, the opposite is the case. We must not give any credence to anything that the government says about what is in our best interest. If they say that a war is necessary, we can assume that it's not necessary. If they say that there's some kind of health risk, we can assume that they're lying about it. The only people who we can give any credence to are people who are truly independent from the government. But someone who works for the government, we have reason to think is part of the system, we should not, we should at the very least be extremely skeptical. Take it with a big grain of salt when they claim that we have to do anything, make any changes based on their assessments, because they have ulterior motives. Don't trust the government. Yes, it's true. According to Jewish law and according to common sense, you should listen to the advice of a doctor. That's only if the doctor does not have a conflict of interest. If he's speaking purely from the perspective of what's best according to the best of medical knowledge to date. But if he is working for the government, then he's essentially a politician. He's telling you what the government wants you to think is best for your health, but not necessarily what is best for your health. Remember all those times when they told us that something was okay for our health, but it turned out not to be, and they had political considerations. Don't think that now is any different. In particular, remember how after 9/11, which 9/11 was an inside job that the American government itself was behind. That's a separate issue. After 9/11, we were told by Christine Todd Whitman that the air was safe to breathe, which was an outright lie. She knew that the air was not safe to breathe. She was told to tell us that the air was safe to breathe by her virtue of being in charge of the uh, Environmental Protection Authority, I believe, the EPA. So the people of New York trusted her, and ever since they suffered from terrible pains and heart conditions that led all these people to die a slow and painful early death. That should already be enough to know that when it comes to public health, we can never trust the government. God bless, and don't trust the government.